Hello crafters, this is Flavia and welcome to another Crafty Tip edition. Today we will be talking about metallic cardstock, which is the easiest way, in my opinion, to really bring your note cards to the next level. I absolutely love adding metallic accents to my note cards, and I usually do that with the hot foiling technique. However, I do know that hot foiling is not for everybody, and there are a lot of crafters who love the result of hot foiling, but not so much the actual technique. And that is what led me to recording this video to talk about my favorite metallic cardstock. Before we begin, let me just say that there are a lot of great options out there, and these are just the ones that I love and have been using for many years now. And if you also have your favorite metallic cardstock, feel free to share it in the comments box down below. Let's begin with the golden cardstock. My all-time favorite is the Spellbinders Mirror Gold cardstock. With one pack, we get 10 8.5 by 11 inches sheets, and they do last me a very long time since we don't need too much of it to make a note card stand out. I usually choose this cardstock when I need to cut out a sentiment or small elements such as stars, hearts, and the center of die-cut flowers, for example. My mind is always blown away with the quality of this paper and how it actually resembles a piece of golden metal. It is very shiny and reflective, as you can see here, especially when the light hits this paper. Another great quality of the Spellbinders Mirror Gold cardstock is that it is double-sided. Usually, specialty cardstock like this is one-sided only, and the back is either white or craft color, but this one is gold on both sides, which is great because it gives us the option to make tags with gold on both sides, for example. We could also use this cardstock to make a card base, but I do not do that as much because it can be very tricky to score a line and fold it in half without tearing this type of cardstock. Since it has a golden coating on both sides, it is to be expected that at some point the cardstock will end up tearing as we fold a note card open and closed a couple of times. So I usually use it for die cutting, making tags, or as a background panel. One thing to keep in mind when using the Spellbinders Mirror Gold cardstock is that since it is double-sided, we will need to use strong liquid adhesive, and we will also need to hold it in place and wait a little bit longer for the glue to dry when adhering this cardstock to something else. And know that if you want to write on this cardstock, you actually can. You just have to make sure you are using a permanent marker to do so. Moving on, here is another great option for a metallic gold cardstock. This is the Recollections Gold Foil cardstock. I use this one a lot as well, especially when I am mass producing, since it is less expensive. In case you don't know, Recollections is a brand of cardstock sold at Michael's craft stores. I first bought this type of cardstock back in 2019 when I began card making, and I still use it because I like it very much. There are 25 pages in one pack, and even though it is not as heavyweight as the Spellbinders Mirror Gold cardstock, it still cuts beautifully. It is also an option to buy it in bulk, which is what I did about 2 years ago, and I still have lots of it. When we buy it in bulk at Michael's website, we get 12 packs with 25 pages, which gives us a total of 300 gold foil pages. So I don't think I will be buying more of this anytime soon. I have even gifted a couple of crafty friends with this cardstock since I have lots of it. This cardstock is also very shiny and just gorgeous in person. And here we have the Recollections Gold Foil on top and the Spellbinders Mirror Gold cardstock at the bottom, so you can see how the color is slightly different, however they are both very beautiful. So again, aside from the color being slightly different, the Spellbinders Mirror Gold cardstock is gold on both sides and heavier, whereas the Recollections gold foil is one-sided, which means on one side it is gold and on the other side, the back side, is craft color. And it is also a little bit lighter, but it is still great for die cutting. Here we have two similar note cards, and the only difference is the type of metallic foil that I used to cut out the sentiment. Can you guess which cardstock I used for each sentiment? So the sentiment for the note card on the left side was cut from a piece of the Spellbinders Mirror Gold cardstock, and this one on the right was cut from a piece of the Recollections Gold foil cardstock. Moving on to the metallic silver cardstock, just like the Spellbinders Mirror Gold, the Mirror Silver cardstock is also a favorite of mine because the color is very rich and smooth, and it also looks just like an actual piece of silver metal, which is just amazing. As you can see here, it is also very glossy and shiny. The Mirror Silver cardstock is heavyweight, double-sided, which means we have this beautiful silver coating on both sides of the paper, and it comes in a pack with 10 8.5 by 11 inches sheets that we can purchase at the Spellbinders website. Another great option, in my opinion, is the Recollection Silver Foil cardstock. It is also an option to buy this cardstock in bulk at Michael's website, and I also like to use this one when I am mass producing. Again, it is very shiny and really beautiful in person. Here I am holding the Recollection Silver Foil on top and the Spellbinders Mirror Silver at the bottom, so you can see the difference between these two as well. The color is slightly different, but they are both also just stunning. And here we have another two similar note cards, and I will freeze the screen here so you can try to guess which silver cardstock I used to cut out a sentiment for the note card on the right and for the note card on the left. If you guessed that the one on the left is the Spellbinders Mirror Silver cardstock, you are correct. That means that the one on the right we have a sentiment cut from a piece of the Recollections Silver Foil cardstock. Last but not least, here is my favorite holographic cardstock. This is the HoloWaves by Tonic Studios. With one pack we get 5 8.5 by 11 inches sheets, and it is absolutely stunning. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it does last a very long time because we only need a small piece of this cardstock to make a note card stand out. It does feel heavyweight, just like the Spellbinders Mirror cardstock. However, this one is one-sided only, and the back of this paper is white, which is also nice because we can use the HoloWaves cardstock to make a card base that is holographic at the front and in the back, but the inside will be all white. Since this cardstock only has a glossy holographic coating on one side, I did not find any problems such as tearing off the cardstock when scoring it and folding it in half to make a card base. Whenever I choose to use this cardstock to make a card base, I make sure to score a line on the holographic side only, and after that I flip the paper so the back, which is the white side, is facing up, and only then I will fold it in half. The HoloWaves by Tonic Studio also cuts beautifully and it picks up all the colors around it. It can be subtle at times depending on how you are holding the paper and the lighting, such as I have it in here, and it can also be the most gorgeous truly holographic cardstock you will ever see. When it comes to holographic cardstock, this is definitely my all-time favorite. So these are the metallic cardstock that I use on my note cards, and I hope you found some of this information helpful. By the way, to create these note cards, I used the Spellbinders Full Stitched Sentiments and Floss to cut out the sentiment thanks, and I used the Stampendo's All the Sentiments Clear Stamp Set to stamp a sub-sentiment at the front panel, as well as a sentiment on the flap of each envelope. If you're interested, I have a list of all products mentioned today in the description box down below, as well as over on my blog. And let me know in the comment section down below what your favorite metallic cardstock are. Thank you so much for watching, take care and happy crafting!